Hi, and welcome to Movement Mondays. I'm Alex Weaver. So just a quick note, today's stream may look a little different. I changed the layout of the gym a little bit, and I also changed how I have my phone propped up to take video. So if we have any technical difficulties today, I apologize in advance. And I'm gonna double check to make sure the stream looks good, and we'll get started here in just a few. So for today's workout, all you'll need is a yoga mat or a towel or an area of the floor that is comfortable enough for you to do exercises on, some water, and then a sturdy chair or bench that you can put your body weight onto. And additionally, if you have a towel or if you have any resistance bands, so the elastic resistance bands there's a bunch of different types. It doesn't really matter which brand or what kind. But any of those will work for today. If not, no worries. We will make sure that there is a body weight only option for you. So like I said, we'll get started here in just a second. And if we have any technical difficulties today, I am sorry in advance. All right, cool. Great. So as always, if you have questions, feel free to comment on the actual stream. So be sure to comment on the Thunderwell stream, or else I will not see your comments. If you're watching from the Alien Athletes page and you have a question, just go on over to Thunderwell. All right, so we will get started here in just a moment. I can't tell if my camera lens is dirty, so hopefully that's better. All right, so let's start today with some good old walkouts. So, sorry, my watch is not cooperating. Okay. So you're going to take your hands, you're going to walk them out into a plank position. So just like this, all the way out, and then all the way back. Standing up nice and tall, reaching as high as you can, and then repeating 5 times. And on this last one, so you can walk your hands out into the plank position, and then you can bring one leg forward and then open up toward that leg. We're going to do this 3 times per side. Perfect. So go ahead and come into a tabletop position. So you're going to be on your hands and knees, hands on your shoulders, knees under your hips. We're going to inhale, letting our body go into cat pose. Exhale, coming up and back. So we're doing some simple cat-cows with our breathing. Perfect. So go ahead and flip on over. We're gonna lay on our backs for this next movement. So laying on your back, feet hip width apart. You're gonna engage your core. Hands can stay at your side or even on your core if you want. You're gonna engage your core, so pull your belly button towards your spine. Squeeze your glutes, squeeze your hamstrings. Come up into a glute bridge. Hold for a second and back down. We're gonna set with 16. And if you want to time your breathing to this movement, you can inhale on the way down and exhale on the way up. A few more. Perfect. So go ahead and turn onto your side from here. So you just roll right over. You're going to stack your knees on top of each other. Arm extended out. We're going to do 2 movements in the position. So we're going to stay on one side, then we'll switch to the other side. So hand behind your head. You're going to bring your elbow towards your wrist on the arm that's extended on the ground. And then slowly watching your elbow rotate away through your thoracic spine. Notice my hips are not moving. I'm moving entirely through my torso. So you're going to come out, come back in. So you can do 5 per side. So on that 5th one, rather than flipping over, stay on the same side. We're gonna keep our feet stacked on top of each other, hips bent, knees bent. You can take one hand and place it on your hip if you want. And then you're going to separate your knees, keeping your feet together, squeezing that outer hip. So we're gonna do some clam shells for 10 per side. Perfect. So when you finish those, now we're going to switch sides. So now I'm switching to my other side, and I'm starting with those thoracic rotations, right? So my position is the same for both. Arm extended on the ground. One hand behind my head, coming over, bringing my elbow towards my wrist, opening away. Maybe taking some deep breaths. 5 thoracic openers. So on that 5th one, we're switching to the clam shells. So you can keep that arm extended, one hand on the hip, coming apart, squeezing that outer hip for a set of 10. Perfect. So you can slowly get up. We're going to come into a nice tall standing position, feet a little wider than hip width. We're going to descend into our deep squat, reaching for our toes, sitting as low as we can, elbows stay on the inside of our knees, chest is up. Taking some deep breaths. Maybe you'll shift side to side a little bit. We're gonna hang out in this position for a few more seconds and then come up into a hamstring stretch. You can shift your hips a little if you want. It's up to you. And then back into that deep squat. You can take your hands, put them together. You can push your knees out using your elbows. Again, you can shift your weight a little back and forth. And then come back up into that hamstring stretch. We'll hang out here a few more seconds. And one more time, back into that squat. And back up into the hamstring stretch. And then we're going to slowly roll all the way up. And now we're going to do a set of arm circles. So standing comfortably, you can engage your core a little bit. We're going to rotate our arms forward. And backward. Brilliant. Okay. We're going to do one more stretch, and then we're going to get started. I'll talk us through circuit one. So we're going to do a 90-90 hip stretch. So you're going to take one leg, make a 90-degree angle at the knee, and then take your other leg and create a second 90-degree angle. So for some people, getting into this position is going to be really tough, depending on how tight you are. You might find that you're more forward, you can't get your hips to the ground. That's okay. You just want to get as close to this position as possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk our hands forward and just sit into that front hip. Take some deep breaths. Hang out for a second. And then maybe walk your hands around toward that back hip, in between. You aren't necessarily going to be able to lean over. I can feel some tightness here, so if you start to feel tightness or like a sharp tightness, that's a sign to ease off. Give your hip a little bit of space. You can walk your hands all the way over to the far side. If you want, you can almost extend over to really play around with where you're feeling this. And then we're going to switch which leg is forward. So again, same thing, 90-degree angle here, 90-degree angle here. And I'm going to come forward. And I'm just going to hang out wherever's comfortable for a few seconds. Taking a few deep breaths. And then maybe walking my hands towards my back leg. Just a little bit. Still trying to breathe, making sure I'm not holding my breath. Walking my hands over, away, towards the back. And reach over. And reach the other way. And that is it for our warm-up today. So grab a sip of water. We're going to talk about our first circuit. So we're starting with single leg deadlifts today. We'll do some push-ups, some YTAs, or some band or towel rows, which I will show you that in a second. And then planks, either as just a regular plank, static plank with no movement, or a plank with rotation. So I'll show you both of those. So first thing, single leg RDLs, or deadlifts. So you're going to stand on one leg. If you find these difficult, what you can do is you can start by slowly shifting your weight into one leg and then allowing that other toe to drag on the ground back until you feel tension in your hamstring and glute, and then you can come forward. So you don't necessarily have to lift your leg, but notice that as I'm extending, my torso is moving with this leg. So all of this is moving as a straight line. So if my torso comes forward, my leg comes back, and vice versa. So, and I also have a slight bend in this knee. So again, switching legs, You can drag that toe as far as you need, and then come back. You're going to feel that tension in your hamstring and your glute. And you might feel like at the ankle on the foot, some kind of like your ankle's trying to like figure out how to stabilize. That's normal. It's part of the balance. So if that feels easy, the next step, you can hold on to something like this rack. So I'll show you from this side. So if you have something to hold on to, you can actually lift off and use that stabilizing thing to come back. And obviously, if you feel comfortable, again, you can do this exact same movement without any sort of assistance. So that's going to be our single leg deadlifts. We'll do 45 seconds per side, and then we'll switch. Actually, we'll probably do 30 seconds per side. And then we'll go into some push-ups. So push-ups you can either do on the wall, so hands under your shoulders, nice and tall, keeping your core engaged, moving towards the wall and back. You're going to have to play around with where your hands are on the wall, so that you want them to be kind of below your shoulder. You don't want your elbows to be up here or super close. You want them to be right in the middle on that sweet spot at like a 45-degree angle. If the wall is too easy, you can move on to using that bench or chair, whatever you've brought for today. Your hands on that object, core engaged, coming down and up like that. Or you can do push up on the ground. So hands, again, on your shoulders, in a plank position, lowering, pressing through the chest. So any of those are perfectly fine, and we'll do that. So then this is where you have the option of using bands, a towel, or doing a body weight movement. So body weight I'll start with. So YTAs, we've done this a bunch of times. You're laying on your stomach, arms are extended out. The rest of your body stays on the ground. Your arms will lift into Y, shift out, lift into T, shift out, lift into A, reset, Y, T, A. So if you don't have a band or a towel, that's what you're going to do. If you have a towel, of course I did not grab a towel, so we're going to use my sweater. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your towel and place that towel around your feet, like so. And obviously you don't want to rip the towel, so you're just going to pull your shoulder blades down and back and hold. So you can hold for like 5 seconds and then rest. So I'm proud chest coming up, pulling my elbows back, shoulder blades down and back. Shoulders are coming away from my ears. I'm not pulling up, I'm pulling down and back. Hold for 5 seconds and release. If you have bands, your other option is going to be a band row. So any band you have, you can do this with. You can wrap the band around the arches of your feet, and then you can wrap it around your hands as you need to make it comfortable. Sitting up nice and tall, pulling those shoulder blades down and back, and resetting. So nice and slow. So any of those are fine. And then last but not least, you have that plank. You can either do a plank with rotation or a stationary plank. Obviously, if you are newer to planks, start with a kneeling plank. So either on your forearms or on your hands, keeping that core engaged. You don't want to let your back arch. You want to keep that core engaged and working. If you're doing a full plank, you can do this either on your hands or on your forearms. And then if you're adding rotation, so I'm going to turn this way so you can see this a little better. Actually, maybe the angle works. So I'm going to do an angle here. So I like to do these from my forearms personally, but you're welcome to do these from your hands as well. So you're on your forearms in your plank. You are rotating. See, my feet are pivoting. I'm reaching up, and then I'm coming back. I'm rotating. My feet are pivoting. I'm coming back. So each time I'm rotating and pivoting in my feet, I'm looking in the direction I'm rotating towards, and I'm resetting back gently to that floor position. So that's circuit one. We're going to start with these single leg RDLs. So we will do a 30 seconds, and then we'll switch legs. So 10-second countdown. And go. And 10-second countdown. Switch legs. And go. One thing I forgot to mention is you want to try to keep your hips facing forward. So you don't want to be like coming like this. That's a different thing. You want to keep your hips square forward for these. Okay, so next up we have push-ups. We'll just do 30 seconds of push-ups today. So 10-second countdown. And go. Great job. Okay, so you have either YTAs or the band or towel rows. So just reset this real quick. All right, 10-second countdown. And remember, if you're using a towel, you're just gonna find some tension, hold it, release, and repeat. Shoulders are being pulled down and away from the ears. You're not shrugging up. You want to try not to tense your neck as best you can. Great job. So last but not least for the circuit, we have the plank with rotation or static plank. Any variation that works for you. We're going to do 45 seconds, and I'll give you a 10-second countdown here. And go. Great job. So grab some water. We're going to repeat that whole round in just a second. So a few more seconds of rest. And then we are back to the single leg deadlifts. All right, so 10-second countdown. Pick whichever leg you started with the first time. Start with the same leg if you remember. And go. And 10-second countdown. Switch legs. Great job. So just 30 seconds of push-ups again. So get ready. 10-second countdown. And go. Great job. Okay, so grab your band, your towel, or get ready to do YTAs. Let me edit the time real quick. All right, 10-second countdown, and then YTAs. Or sorry, YTAs or rows. And go. Perfect. So last but not least, rotational planks or just a regular plank for 45 seconds. 10-second countdown. And go. Great job. So grab a sip of water And I'm going to talk us through our next circuit. Okay, so 32. Today we have either lateral or regular lunges, which you can, excuse me, which you can also substitute for step-ups or for high knees on the ground, so like this, or seated. But anyways, so lateral lunge, nice wide stance, coming into that outer hip, back to center, into that outer hip, back to center. So each rep resetting into that nice tall center position. You want to do regular lunges, you can either do stepping forward lunges like this, which I believe we did last week, or you can do reverse lunge, stepping backward. Either of those are fun. Secondly, we have bird dogs. So bird dogs, you're going to get in that tabletop position to start, and then you're going to engage your core, extend opposite arm, opposite leg, and come back. So you're keeping that core engaged, extending opposite arm, opposite leg. Next up, we have ground to overheads. These are similar to squats, but you're going to be in more of a, these are like a hingier squat, I would say. So more of like a deadlift squat hybrid if you were actually holding a weight. So a little wider than your normal squat stance. You can just hold, I'll grab a yoga block, but you don't have to hold anything. Sometimes I think it's kind of nice to hold something for these. So holding your object or not holding your object, you're going to bring your arms to the floor by, so I'm going to show you from the side. I'm sitting back into my hips and letting my knees come forward. And then coming up to overhead. So each rep, I'm taking my imaginary object or my real object and coming all the way through that range of motion. Lastly, we have a 6-inch hold, which you can do either as a hollow hold or a 6-inch hold. We're only going to do 30 seconds for this. So 6-inch hold is going to be the easier variation. If you want to make it a little harder, you can take your hands out and make it a hollow hold. So 6-inch hold, hands are under your butt. You can start with your legs up, lower them into a position about 6 inches above the ground. A little higher if you're struggling. Hold here. Keep your core engaged. Pull your belly button into the floor so your spine is staying pressed into the floor. You can try to have a neutral neck. That's helpful. And then we'll hold there. If you want to make it harder, you can also put your hands. So here is going to be easiest. The hardest is going to be here. So the hardest variation would be to extend like this, keeping your core engaged. So that's going to be circuit 2. So we're going to start with lateral lunges here in about 10 seconds. So nice wide stance. And go. Great. So next up, we have those bird dogs. So a 10-second countdown, and then you're bird dogging. So next up, you have ground to overheads. So grab your object, or use an imaginary object, and we will start in 10 seconds. And go. Great job. Okay, so last but not least, we're going to do a 30-second 6-inch hold or hollow hold. Your choice. 10-second countdown. And go. Great job. All right, so grab some water. And we're going to do that whole round one more time. All right. A few more seconds of rest. Feel free to stretch anything you need to stretch. We have our last round. And then, as always, a little bit of bonus core. And then you are done for today. So head on back to your mat. We're going to start with the lateral or regular lunges or high knees or step ups. And those single leg variations are fine. And we have a 10-second countdown. Great. So next up, we have those bird dogs. 10-second countdown. grab your imaginary object or your real object, depending on your situation. We have a 10-second countdown, and we are doing grounds to overhead. Great. All right, so last but not least, we have the 6-inch hold or hollow hold. Your choice. All right, so let's edit that timer down to just 30 seconds. 10-second countdown. Great job. So grab some water. We have 3 30-second activities left, and then you are done. All right. So, first up, we're gonna do dead bugs, but I'm gonna give you a little bit more of an advanced variation you can try if you feel up to it. So, for starting for dead bugs, you can either do, you're laying on your back, starting with legs and arms up, core engaged. So if you're brand new to dead bugs, take your opposite hand to opposite knee. So I'm going to take my right hand to my left knee, and then I'm going to engage my core. So I'm pressing my belly button, I'm pulling my belly button into my spine to press my back into the floor, and then I'm keeping that engaged as I extend the opposite arm and opposite leg to come back. So you can, if you want to do that, you'll do like a few reps on that side, switch sides, etc. The next step would be all arms and legs up, alternating sides. So keeping that core engaged and alternating sides. And then if you want to make this just a little bit more challenging, so you can instead shift towards the side that you are away from, the side you were extending, like so. So any of those variations are fine. We're going to do 30 seconds, so you have a 10-second countdown. And go. Great job. So next up we have, can't read my handwriting, balance. All right, so fun stuff. Okay, so we're gonna do 30 seconds per leg of balance. So you are going to stand, you can draw one leg up, just like this, or you can even just bring that toe off the ground, and then if you need to touch something like a wall, chair, whatever. But we're just gonna balance on one leg for 30 seconds, switch, other leg 30 seconds. Try to breathe and keep your core engaged. 10-second countdown. And 10-second countdown, other side. As you probably will be able to tell by the end of this 30 seconds, my right leg is my easier balance leg. All right, so last but not least, you can do crunches or sit-ups. We're gonna do 45 seconds straight for this last activity, and then you are all done for the day. So, 10-second countdown, crunches or sit-ups, and then you are done. Go. All right, so that is all for class today. Great job, everyone. So we will be having class next Monday, as far as I know. So I will see everyone same time, same place. Again, my name is Alex Weaver. I am coach and owner of Alien Athletes. Thank you to Thunder Mist for sponsoring this class. Thank you all for coming to this class, and I will see you next Monday, 6 p.m.